on Monday night
Is that your favorite?
for the solar panels.
Present it for this.
You always do it in pen?
It looks like it's
You
supposed
always
to.
have to do it in pen?
Yep.
It looks like that's how it's supposed to.
I'd like to call the St. Clair County Board of Commissioners meeting to order. Would you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Commissioner Smasko?
Here.
Commissioner Baldwin?
Present.
Commissioner Beeden?
Present.
Commissioner Torello?
Here?
Commissioner Rushing?
Here.
Commissioner Vandebosch?
Here.
Commissioner Bone?
Here.
Okay. I'm going to do the oath of office. Could you guys all stand and raise your right hand, please? I do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the state of Michigan, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of office of County Commissioner in and for the County of St. Clair and the state of Michigan according to the best of my ability.
I do.
I do.
You? Do we have a motion for appointment of a temporary chair?
At this time, I would move to appoint Jeff Bohm as temporary chair.
Support? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Jeff Baum is the temporary chair.
Okay, item 6, nominations and election of a permanent chairperson.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, this is it. Do we voice nominate or we write it down?
Typically, there's a voice nomination, and if more than one individual has been nominated, then you all have ballots to vote.
You want 2 people on this, right? You want us to put
No,
2?
I think a voice, someone would make a motion to nominate, and however many nominees there are, then you would vote,
All right.
correct?
So do you need a nomination then?
Yes, please.
Can I nominate Jeff Bohm for chair?
It needs-
Needs a second.
Oh, is it like a motion? Support? Like I haven't done this before.
Any other nominations?
Any other nominations?
I guess you'd ask, is there any other nominations?
Seeing none, we will close it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Thank you, fellow commissioners. Nominations and elections of vice chairperson. I would nominate, well, actually, I probably can't do it, so.
I nominate Georgia Baldwin.
Support.
Any other nominations for vice chair? Seeing none, I would close it. All in favor? Aye. Those opposed? Georgia Baldwin. Okay, item 8, additions, deletions, changes to the agenda. Seeing none, can I have an approval of the agenda?
Motion to approve.
Support, Baldwin?
All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Item 10, minutes of previous meetings. Item A.
This time I'd like to make a motion to receive and approve the minutes of the December 8th, 2022 commission meeting.
Support?
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Item 11, we have one citizen wishing to address the board this evening. It's Kevin Linke, P.O. Box 44, St. Clair, Michigan. Topic, Bohm.
How y'all doing tonight?
What's the topic?
How much time do we get?
What was the topic?
Bohm.
Oh, you.
Yeah, how much time do we get?
3 minutes.
3 minutes? I'm here tonight. Commissioner Bohm, he has an office in St. Clair at the Eddy Elementary Center, and he's got himself a little club built up there. It's kind of his little watering hole, and he hangs out there. Well, I've been approached by some citizens, some concerned citizens in the community, that Mr. Bohm is allowing minors to drink in his building. And I have text messages from the minors themselves confirming this. And I think it's highly inappropriate. And I think the commission should be looking into this and holding Commissioner Bohm accountable for this behavior. It's a very bad look when the head of our county commission has basically created his own little private bar, and he has children in there getting drunk with him and his buddies on Sunday football days. You know, it's very indicative of this county and how things are ran, and it's kind of BS. And I think it's time for some of you on this commission to grow a set and to confront Mr. Bohm. There's also an issue of your consistent drinking and driving in our community, and it's absurd. You are putting people at danger, you are putting people at risk, you're putting yourself at risk, and everybody knows what you're doing, but everyone's afraid of you. But I'm not, Jeff. And I see you all the time. You are literally my parents' neighbor. I've watched you for 11 years get hammered. I watched you sit at the bar and pass out drinks to people and get in your car and drive home. And you know you do it. And you won't deny it because you know it's true. And my thing is, just be better, Jeff. You're a community leader. You're very high profile in the community. Act like it, because this is absurd. the shit you do, the stuff you do, sorry for my language, you know, grow up, Jeff. This isn't a frat party anymore. You're not a frat boy. This isn't college. You know, you are engaging in behavior that is absurd. It's also very, I'm really kind of flabbergasted why you're not addressing the situation with your gym either. Like, release a statement. You're a public leader. There was an issue at your gym. A bunch of residents were harmed because of it. Stand up and address it, Jeff, and just tell people, hey, we're sorry this happened. We're doing something about it. Instead, you're keeping it quiet. You got a convicted sex offender, a pedophile, was taking pictures of women in your tanning booth, and it's been dead silence from you. But you're allowing Paul to go out there and take the brunt of all the blowback. You should be taking it. You know, it's time to grow up, Jeff. And it's time to act like you're however old you are. I think you're like 50, 60 some years old. It's time to act like it. This stuff you got going on, and you and your little buddy Gary right there, and your little clique, the old way of doing things is over with. It's not going to be done in silence. It's not going to be done in the dark. It's not going to be done behind the scenes. There is now a spotlight on all of you. Act better. Because your intimidation tactics and all your bullshit you try on some of us, it's not going to work with me, because I'm not afraid of you guys.
You got
There's
about
nothing you
15
can.
seconds left.
Thank you. And yeah, and for all the rest of you, I don't really know a lot of the other commissioners, but it's time for you guys to step up too, because you're representatives of this community yourselves, and it's time for you to hold him accountable.
Okay, moving on, consent agenda. No consent agenda. Item 13, unfinished business. There's two things that I would like to address next meeting in 2 weeks from now. I would like to, if possible, with the commissioners, put a workshop perhaps together, maybe from 4 p.m. till 6 p.m. to talk about the ARPA funds and maybe some additional topics that commissioners may have. Obviously, we've got some new members on the board, share some information. I know Carrie's got a lot of it. So if there's any other agenda items that you'd like to talk about, please get them with Carrie. We might, like I said, we might have a couple of these just to get some, there's some, you know, stuff on the table. So are you guys, would you be available, Steve?
You know, I did that presentation back in August on some various ways different communities, throughout the country, throughout the state had handled the ARPA issue. It was a three-phase proposal. What I'd like to do, if you're going to do that, is have a little more time, because what I would do, if we're not going to do that as a board, it's going to be a workshop kind of a thing, I'd like to canvass my district, you know, and have some time to reach out, get some feedback. So could we have a little more time than just 2 weeks from now, or?
Well, I don't think we necessarily have to make any decisions. It's probably more of our ARPA funds, where we're at, just a general overall conversation, what we had been talking about previous,
So
you
you're
know, looking
envisioning
at.
maybe even more meetings, like meeting and maybe another one if we need it, or
Yeah, I think so.
are we gonna direct staff to communicate with, you know, nonprofits, municipalities, townships? Are they gonna handle that, or?
Well, that's what I'm saying, is we need to have that workshop to talk about it, to decide if that's the direction that we would really want to go on it. It's
I'm
like-
kind of jumping the gun a little bit here.
Yeah, a little bit on that one.
I envisioned it more going over what your presentation was, and dig deeper into that to
Use
see how
that
to,
to
and
give some
then
ideas.
see
Okay.
how to move
I didn't
forward.
know, okay, I didn't know if you wanted it to be a meat and potatoes kind of thing, or just a general,
More of a general overview, yeah.
set the goals for how to move forward, and then
thank you.
Does that work for everybody before?
So I understand what you're saying. Next week, or in 2 weeks, we start at 6 o'clock. We're going to have a workshop prior to the start of our regular meeting.
4 PM. I'd
4
like to
PM,
do
okay, I
that if
didn't
you
hear
guys are available, yeah. There could be some other
Okay.
items.
Okay.
You know, we've got obviously a couple new commissioners.
Now, that'll
on
be
board,
in a
just,
public format, correct?
Yeah, it'll be right here. It'll just be pre our meeting.
All right.
Does that work?
That's great.
Okay. And then we have a special guest in attendance this evening from Canada, Steve Samasco's cousin, Marlissa McCullum. She came over here to see
All the way
cousin,
to Canada, wish me well.
cousin Steve. So 14A, new business, appointment of sergeant at arms. I think this is the board chairman appointment. I would like to appoint Dave Rushing as the sergeant of arms.
support.
Discussion.
Baldwin.
All in favor? Aye. Those opposed? Appointments to standing committees. Georgia and I actually worked on that a little bit, just kind of.
Order, Jeff, just, you know, that motion, I'm filling out the form here on the motion. I didn't make the motion. You made the appointment and the motion. If it's procedurally correct, I'm good with that, but otherwise I'll make a motion and vote on it.
Oh, for the
Does
nomination.
it matter?
No, it's his appointment, and then the board votes to confirm or not confirm the appointment.
Okay. So you want the motion at this time to affirm it?
No, that
We-
occurs after he appoints the person, names the appointee. So it already happened.
Okay, all right.
If I could, just because we operate by Robert's rules, to have a sergeant of arms, you can appoint me, but that means that there's no motion required if what you're saying is true. If you appoint me, you still need a motion for me to be sergeant of arms. And that's, I think, what Steve was addressing. So we
But
still
why
need a
don't you,
motion
for
just to be official,
parliamentary,
if I'm
yes,
correct.
make a motion, Steve.
That's my point.
Yeah,
It's
that's
just-
fine.
It's a technical thing, but,
Yeah.
you know, first we have a motion to clear the floor, right? And get that off. Whatever was on the floor is gone, right? That procedurally, at this time.
Make a motion for
I would
Dave.
move to support the appointment by Commissioner Bohm of David Rushing as the Sergeant of Arms.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. Moving on to be appointments to standing committees. If you see there's, I know an email went out earlier today. We had some different committee assignments. They're not necessarily everything's in stone. We can make changes on them if certain things don't work for certain people. So take a look at them. If you have certain ones that don't work for you, let us know, and we'll try to get somebody else. If you have any questions for some of the new commissioners, what these entail, check with administration. A lot of these committees, they meet on a as-needed kind of basis. For example, I'm on the Aeronautics Advisory Board, and I don't think we've met in 3 years because there hasn't been anything that's been needed. So do I have a motion for the appointments to the standing committees?
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion to accept the appointments for the 21-22 standing committees given by the chair.
I haven't seen that list. Was it included?
I emailed it out earlier.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have it in your email, but
I had a busy day, I was at other things, so I didn't download that.
And we can change them. They're not in stone, you know, it's the
Now
template.
look at it. Give me 20 seconds. I can review it real quick. Because you're making a motion to accept it, and you probably will.
I said we can always change if certain things don't work for, I don't think any of yours changed, actually, Dave. Yours
Okay.
was same. Yeah.
Yep, I'm happy with it.
Yep.
there are two lists in your email, or two documents. One is by the type of, what organization, what board it is, and then the commissioner listed underneath, and the other one is by district, so that you can see what one.
Okay.
But there were two.
Yeah,
two
not my
plans.
first day here, so I understand.
Well, I'm saying it to
Yep,
everyone.
that's
Dave.
correct.
There again,
Some of us-
all subject to change if necessary.
I'll support your motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Item C, Board of Commissioners bylaws, 2023, 2024.
This time I move to adopt the Board of Commissioners bylaws for 2023, 2024 as presented.
Support. Baldwin.
Discussion, Steve.
I appreciate everybody getting involved with this, and I appreciate Mr. Fletcher meeting with me and going over some of what I proposed. But the only thing I saw that was missing from some of my notes from my last meeting was under item 6, public participation. I had included language in my last draft that read as follows: the right of the public address is granted by the Michigan Open Meetings Act under rules established by the Board of Commissioners, citing at MCL 15-263, subparagraph 5. That's just a provision of the Open Meetings Act that indicates that the Board of Commissioners establishes rules for public participation. So I would like to see that included. If I could make a motion to just add that one piece, otherwise it would stand as presented. That's right after item 6, public participation. What I just read, I wrote down here, could be added. That's my motion.
I think the motion, the correct one would be to amend.
Yeah, I will do that if,
That's fine. Well, the two amendments.
do I need to rescind the
I just put
previous
it in
one?
writing. It was in my last draft I sent out. It's just, I think it's an oversight. It just is one sentence that says, the Open Meetings Act establishes,
I'll amend my motion to include your language that you just stated to us, to include the Michigan State Constitution and the MCL, giving the Board of Commissioners permission to do that, exactly.
thank you. Nothing further.
Yeah, and I'll support.
Support, okay. Any further discussion on it? All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Item D, the letter of agreement with Region 10 for final action.
At this time, I'd like to make a motion to approve the fiscal year 2023 letter of agreement with Region 10 prepaid inpatient health plan for prevention services for the intervention center inmates in the amount of $130,000.
Support.
Discussion. Roll call.
Commissioner Samasco?
Yes.
Commissioner Baldwin?
Yes.
Commissioner Beden?
Yes.
Commissioner Torello?
Yes.
Commissioner Rushing?
Yes.
Commissioner Vanden Bosch?
Yes.
Commissioner Chairperson Bone?
Yes. Item E, the Community Mental Health Board appointments.
At this time, I move to approve Martha Partapilio to represent District 2, Lori Ames to represent Member at Large, and to appoint Dawn Davy to represent District 7 for the remainder of the 3-year term expiring March 31st of 2025.
Support.
Discussion. Roll call.
Commissioner Baldwin?
Yes.
Commissioner Beden?
Yes.
Commissioner Torello?
Yes.
Commissioner Rushing?
Yes.
Commissioner Vanden Bosch?
Yes.
Commissioner Samasco?
Yes.
Commissioner Chairperson Bone?
Yes. Item 15, Administrator's Report, Gary? No.
I don't have much for you this evening, as there isn't normally a report at the first meeting. Couple reminders, the radio schedule for your radio interviews was at your places tonight, and it was also emailed to you from Lydia. And those radio interviews take place the day after the board meetings for new commissioners. So you'll have your schedule. You also received an email regarding the EDA semi-annual meeting, so please get back with Lydia if you would like to be registered. And last, the 26-mile road corridor study is ready to be presented. I don't know if that is a topic you would like at the workshop or if you would like to see that at a regular board meeting.
Probably wouldn't hurt, I see Dave Struck in attendance, because we're not going to talk about ARPA for, 2 hours, but the 26-mile road thing probably would tie into some conversation that would have to deal with ARPA funds too, so it probably wouldn't hurt to have those as maybe 2 of our topics.
Okay.
So,
We will see if we can get that scheduled for that date then. Thank you. That's all I have this evening. Yes?
Would we be able to get that in advance to take a look at it before it's publicly presented as soon as it's available? As soon as we start?
Yes, I believe so. I actually haven't seen the final study yet myself, so.
do you have that in a mailable PDF, Dave, the 26-mile road? Okay, very good.
And that's the consultant's report, or is that our own internal report?
That is the consultant that the county engaged to do the full analysis. There were several public input sessions as well, so all of that information will be compiled in their final
So
report.
that went to county planning, and then they're going to put it out? Is that how that goes?
Planning coordinated it. However, it was the consultant that, put on the workshops and did all of the work,
I
so.
wasn't here for that, so that's.
Right,
And that was Wade Trim that did that.
correct.
That was engineering and,
Probably 8 or 10 months long.
yes.
Process was like very lengthy. Motion for the administrator's report.
Who looks-
So moved, Baldwin.
Support Beden.
All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Any miscellaneous business to come before us? Seeing none, receive and file.
This time, I'd like to make a motion to receive and file packets that were sent to commissioners, packets at their places, and any other information presented.
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Item 18, adjournment.
Move to adjourn.
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Meeting is adjourned.